we, that is our generation, we either
Yeah.
define the future of this industry and build it out,
Yeah.
or we will be bought out the way foreigners are buying our tech out. To solve this problem, right, I just think that there has to be a win for you from the day you get your employment letter from any agency. You have
Yeah.
to know that it is not just a job opportunity you are getting, it is a
Yeah.
life change. So
Yeah.
it's not about the technical skill you have.
Yeah.
Advertising is an intelligence-driven business.
All right, guys. Hello, welcome to another session of the Creative Radio. And today on this session, I have with me a creative magician, a juggernaut in the industry, who has so many years of experience, and I'm so happy he's here with me today. Welcome, guys. Welcome, Lyon, to the studio. For those who don't really know you or are not familiar with you, can you just give us a brief introduction about yourself and just tell us a brief story of how you came up in the industry where you are?
That is a seasonal movie, right? The series in itself. But let's get to it. My name is Lyon Kolidoe.
Okay.
I am the chief magician at Method and Metaphors, a new advertising agency out of Lagos. Before then, I co-founder and CEO at Sentient XT. And before then, I was, which was also an agency. And before then, I was co-founder and CEO of Ball Gecko 5. And before then, I worked advertising as a typical, regular Nigerian creative, doing my thing, building brands like MTN, Pepsi, Johnny Walker, Techno, and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not so good introducing myself. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
No problem. I mean, that is very, very good. When you came into the industry at first, right? Because I know back then, the time back then and now is a bit different, right?
Very.
How did you enter the industry? Was it something like you were like, oh, I want to work in advertising, or it was something? Because some people say, oh, I stumbled on advertising and now I'm here.
Yeah. So I would say that it was not by accident. So my earliest memories of brands were when I went shopping with my in my home. I won't call it hometown, but the town I was raised, back in Ondo State. And then you know the town?
That's where I'm from, Okitukpa.
Awesome. Look at that. Who would have thought? Oh my goodness. Right? So we'll go to the market and my mom was what we call teacher moms. So she had her customers in terms of people who supplied her with beverages and stuff. So she had specific brands, and I would go there, and the question I was always asking her was, why are you picking this brand over this brand? And I would show her, pick up two brands and say, look at this one, it's a finer, the design is finer. You say, it's just for show, this is a better product, right? And I got curious, and from there on, I kept sort of like looking out for brands, understanding brands, all of that. So I was always curious about advertising, even though I didn't know what it was. I was curious about media, even though I didn't know what it was. I think my first magazine was Reader's Digest. Then later, I stumbled on Success Magazine. It was this magazine series. I don't know if they've stopped, but they used to run. It was popular back then. And I wanted to create my own version of Success Magazine. So I took a lot of A4 paper from my mom's typing pool and bought them, and I was trying to form that. Right? So I was always been curious about creativity. And then in uni, I came across Lando London, the branding consultancy, and it just changed my mind. And then at a particular point, and I was trying to do my postgraduate diploma. My sister sent me, because she knew I was into this creative thing, she sent me a link to Troika's graduate training program. Then, the Troika has always had this culture of making it a grand, like, big brother level thing. And so I was like, okay, this is my opportunity. So I came to Lagos. Then I had this crazy mohawk, and I was like, if books alone, they will know that I'm creative. But go back. And then, I got that email from Insight, which was an email I will later come to know. The email was called info.hcd. For anybody that works at Insight, they know the email. That's like Human Capital Development. That's their HR email. And I got an email from that said, unfortunately, you do not pass. You do not get into the management program. I said, me, you cannot. How did this happen? No, it can't be. I got angry. I was like, you know what? Fuck them. I'm going to do my own thing, right? For the if this is a rated show, and then I came to Lagos to Orange Academy, right? And I remember when I was at Orange Academy, I remember I was having a conversation with what's it called, Sheyi Owolawi. Who was my tutor at Orange Academy. So he was one of the people who taught me at Orange Academy, yes. And I was having a conversation with, like, you know what, how do I get into Insight? And we're planning this more like a agency, which is what we're going to talk about. Agency hopping strategy. 2 years here, you do 2 years there, you do 2 years there, 2 years there. So by the time we planned it, it was going to take me 6 years to get to Insight based on that plan.
Wow.
It's going to take me 6 years. Yeah. I will do 2 in some places. And I have at the top of my game in those 2 years to get to Insight.
Yeah.
And then eventually, what finally happened was that I got a job with Fifth Think as a brand strategist, which was also one of the teachers, one of the what's it called now? The tutors at Orange Academy. Madam, I call her Madam because she's a girl Madam now. Madam Sheyi.
Okay.
So she took me and I was working with her. And then 6 months down the line, again, I've come to learn not to forget those who set me up for greatness, right? 6 months down the line, one of my teachers at Orange Academy. So you can see I mentioned Orange Academy like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
One of my teachers at Orange Academy, Joshua Kimbanjo.
Okay.
I think it was a very senior person there at the time. He just told them at Insight that he knows someone that is very good with digital, that can solve whatever challenge they have in their digital department. And like, okay, is this guy? And then so started getting assignments and briefs. I did like almost 3 assignments for my role.
Wow.
I didn't know that those assignments were actually live campaigns.
Wow.
So couple of the assignments, they were, of course, they had more experience than me, and also, fine-tuning it and using it to solve problems for Pepsi.
Yeah.
and I thought I was just doing some random stuff, but it was going straight to Pepsi, and Insight was catching us. And it's not like they were doing anything illegal, but my point is they were solving the problem, and so and this is because it took me a while to understand the backstory of how I got hired into Insight. It took me a while. My story in one story, and I'm sharing this one just because we're going to talk about capacity and talent and rigor and character shortly. So Shegun Martins, my departmental head at the time, just walked up to Peyi Olubodun, who was COO. It was COMG, I'm not sure at the time, but he was one running Insight. And he said, you know what? I know someone. You see all these results we've been getting. There's someone that's been doing it. I think we should give the guy a job. And then they said, okay, fine. So I came in for my final interview with Peyi. And Peyi asked me a question. He said, he's been thinking of buying a game console. Am I a gamer? I said, yes, I'm a gamer. In my mind, I was like, well, at least I can impress this man that I'm a gamer. Because so he's been thinking about buying a console and he wants to know whether I should buy a PS5, a PS, was it PS3 that time? Yeah, PS3 or PS4, or if you buy an Xbox.
Yeah.
That he saw the Xbox Kinect and it's looking very interesting, but these people keep telling me about PS, PlayStation, and all.
Yeah.
Now, what will I recommend? I was like, hey, God, I believe people don't block me from this channel. Which kind of interview question is this? Because he said, what would you recommend? And he sat back on his seat. There's a way someone sits back like this, and you know that they are waiting for an answer.
For your answer, the answer.
Yeah. You know what? Let me ask you a question. What kind of a gamer are you? Do you like adventure games, or do you like simulation games like football, or do you like adventure games where you want to see the environment, you want to see the water drop on the leaves, you want to see the blood splash and splatter and all of those things? Like what kind of a gamer are you? Because if you are for the adventure action games, then I would recommend you go for the Xbox, because Xbox is to handle heavy, intense graphics. If you are for simulation where everything is pretty defined and it's just about your TV screen at the end of the day, then I would recommend you go for the PlayStation. I was like, wow, that was a very intelligent answer. That the fact that I asked him what kind of a gamer he was, rather than just speak to a preference, meant that I actually have a natural inclination towards understanding consumer behavior and all, and that he gives me his blessings, and I'm good to go.
Wow.
This conversation happened open office. So at the time, he had not moved into his glass segment of the office then. So it was open office. So there were people passing by, like things were happening.
And listening.
It was being decided on that spot.
As in.
And that's how I got in. Right. Got into inside. Then Troika. Then another interesting thing happened. Then Troika, what was it called? Troika was doing this induction thing. Okay. Again, as creative leaders or as business leaders, we don't know what our actions do to the people that are coming up, right? So Troika does induction thing where you have to go through all of their agencies to know what they're about. You go through the PR quadrant, media perspective. You know the Troika group, right?
Yeah.
So I was at the Troika building for the very first one, and they were showing us Dr. Biodun Shobanjo's boardroom. I remember I was at the boardroom, and someone just came and said, "Please, who is Colledo here?" I said, "I'm the one that will." God, I just enter. Why are you asking for my name? My surname at an induction, and then the person goes like, "Oh no, Faye wants you back as inside. That you're not doing induction again." I said, "Okay." I came back. In my mind, I was like, "God, I beg, like God, see, this is my 6 years dream."
And in 6 years,
it took me 6 months to enter inside from when I graduated at Orient Academy. So I'm like, God, that just helped me, I got in, and they said that enter that room. I said, okay. No, I entered the room. I found Chima. I found my boss, Shegun Martins. I found Simi. I found Simi Solar Hughes, former creator of Insight. I found Boglo, and I'm trying to remember Malik Sani and Obishe's son. I've forgotten his surname, but we call him Obi, Mr. Obi or something. He was the head of strategy for Insight at the time and account planning. So all of the top dogs were there. They were planning. They were working on the Airtel pitch. And so for you, I can't have this unique resource for digital and be doing the induction, have a pitch to win in the next 4 days. Please come and join the pitch room. So imagine a new hire at an agency that your very first week, what you do in your very first week is to
awesome.
dive straight into the biggest agency.
Wow.
And yet, what's it called? Insight won that pitch actually.
Yeah.
They won it outrightly because I mean, you see, the industry news can write different kind of things about history, but I saw the Airtel guy come, visit our office, shake everyone's, and I worked on the pitch, meet the people, okay, this is where the Airtel team will be working. So there's this thing that sites, they have this color, one of the finest agencies in that of interior decor. We talk about that again. They have these colored dividers for their boxes, for their workspace. All right. So they took all of the ones that were red, put them in one corner. And said, "This is where the So we won the pitch, but it was lost on business negotiations and terms and all of those, right? So imagine joining an agency, going straight from an induction into the biggest feature of the agency, the biggest win of the current CEO of the agency, and then even far and above that, winning the pitch, and that's your first baptism, a baptism of fire
into the.
So that was what happened. So that's how I got started. So you see, I didn't have a slow start. I didn't have a gentle start. It was straight into the I don't know if that has been able to answer your question, or if I
it really answered it, because the truth is everybody have a way they enter the industry. And one thing I've noticed across board is there's always someone that is referring you or telling someone about you or helping you get there to enter the advertising space. Like me, I didn't back then. I didn't even have money to go to Orange Academy or O2 Academy. A friend of mine went to Orange Academy, and it was sponsored by the boss I was working with back then. And back then we'll go learn, we'll come and tell me, we'll talk about it, you'll say, oh, I met this person, I met that person. And that I then went for his graduation, right, that they do after everything. That was where I met Joshua Rebele. And after meeting Josh, we got to talk, exchange numbers. Then some few months down the line, Josh reached out to my friend Emmanuel and was like, oh, there's an opening in Isobar for art director that does he want to come? So my friend said he doesn't want to do advertising, that I want to go to tech. He wants to go and be doing UI, UX. Then he called me. I was like, oh, Toby, there's an opening, advertising. Will you take it? And prior to that time, I was working with a company whereby the way they came at me, and now let me even share a bit of my own story. They came at me at we are putting together a marketing and communication team, especially for this brand. It was like an agricultural company, but they want their own marketing and communication team and everything. And everything was going well until 6 months down the line, when everything now began to scatter and tumble, to the point that the person that even brought me in, that was even part of the big people, but the person left without telling me that you brought him.
Wow.
Right? Then I was back then, I won't lie, I was like, God, I don't want to work with people like this. I don't want to work with startups anymore. I want to work in an agency that is established, right? Because I know the people I'll meet there. The funny thing is that before that time, I did a test for Insight. But Insight didn't get back to me quick. 2 weeks passed, I didn't hear anything. So I thought, maybe these people, they have moved on. When I now got that job, a week later, Insight now reached out to me. I was not like, I was doing, what will people say? That I just joined this place and I want to run away. I want to move away, that I don't want that kind of thing on my own resume. People should say, you can't trust him, or if he comes like this, he will just go. So I turned down Insight. I was like, maybe we'll work together later in the future. Right? But then 6 months down the line, the company crashed. And then that was when I now heard that even the 6 months where they were even paying us consistently. Everything was going well. Some people in the company were not receiving pay. Everything has been crazy. It just scattered a lot. Then when Emmanuel narrated that to me that Josh was our director at Isoba, I was like, I spoke with Josh. I sent my portfolio, because what I used to do back then, because I was not working on big brands like that will put my work out there. But the thing I do is I give myself tasks to do. I do it well. I see that, this is good. I put it in my portfolio. So most of the things in my portfolio back then were personal projects, but creative enough to get the attention of the director. Yeah. So I said to George, just was like, oh, nice. I like this work, that I'll be able to work in the industry. Then he gave me a task to do. And the same thing is that the task was a design for Peak, because they had one code then. For Peak, they were doing, I think it was Salah, during Salah time, they wanted to do the commemorative ad for Salah, this and that for Peak. When I took that brief, I did the design, I did it right there, I did the copy, I wrote the copy on it, I did everything. I sent it to him. He saw it, he loved it. It was even like, the account manager on it is like, Josh, who did this? When is this person resuming? This and that. I'm like, calm down. That was how I then got into Isoba and, now build my career from there. So it's always someone that will refer you.
Awesome.
You get that opportunity, and then from there, just keep going. Just keep going and build the industry.
Let me add to what you. So the first place I worked as a creative, that's 15. I missed Josh Rebele by a hair's breadth, right? Like he just left when I joined. Himself, a guy called Temitope Joseph, right? Yeah. Now this guy, Temitope Joseph, is currently the strategy director
for Dentsu. Yeah. TJ.
So Josh and I later met at what's it called? At DDB, where we worked together, right? Yeah. And then again, Temitope Joseph, came to Insight after I left Insight. So you see that there's this thing about, like you said, talent and opportunity. And what from your story, what I've heard you, what has come across was that you found a way to create value, even though you were in an unstable environment. Yeah. And I guess as we talk, we're going to clarify that. And also about Orange Academy, I mean, I also didn't have the money for it. Like my Orange Academy was 100% other people's money. The only money I spent for myself for Orange Academy was my transport fare, because I was not in Lagos, so I was coming to Lagos from almost every weekend. Coming to Lagos from almost every week. And then the money for the form. I got a scholarship from any band news, that took off like K from my money at the time. Don't forget that paying 250K, 300K for a course at that time. When you that salary as an employee would have been 70K, 80K. So imagine going 300K. That kind of stuff. Yeah. I think we are aligned on that. So
really good. So now let's dive deep into what we want to talk about, because the conversation we had, the advertising landscape, right? It's in a way it's not too clear. A lot of people think it's clear, like there's a clear-cut roadmap for them, but in a way, when you get in, after a while, you begin to ask yourself, what next? Like, what am I going to do? Apart from the fact, because I had to get to a point and think, and this is one of the things that even, in a way, prompts me and made me start doing freelancing, right? Like, apart from just working here, and then I move here, I need more money, I move here. You're moving around. Yeah. What next? What's next, right? Because move around. You say, okay, we are going for higher. You want to climb up the creative ladder. You climb up. You become creative director. After creative director, what are you doing next? Like, and between that time, is just the money that will be increasing.
Okay.
It's the money that will be increasing. So how can we, sit back, think, and set a clear-cut roadmap for us? And what also, I know we're going to touch on the roles of the agencies and what we feel they should do and put in place in a way that anybody that comes into the industry says, I'm going for this career because in 10 years' time, I'm going to get to this place.
Okay, so let me start by saying that this is a very powerful question. As we stand right now, whether we like it or not, there are two things that will happen.
Yeah.
That is our generation, we either define the future of this industry and build it out, or we will be bought out the way foreigners are buying our tech out. What do I mean? So you see a tech company say, "Oh, we just raised so and so million in investment."
Yeah.
You become a big name, but you are not indigenously owned. You are part of a portfolio of an LP from Saudi Arabia, an LP from Europe, an LP from the US, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of backdoor access will come in. I read this book right here. Sorry.
Yeah.
I read this book, right?
I've been looking for your book.
I can borrow you the book, or I can lend you the book. Sorry, I can lend you the book. So
I read it. I will appreciate, man.
And see this man right here.
Yeah.
Benefited from government policies.
Okay.
Right, when agencies were getting indigenous, and he was able to build an institution, which all of us, we've mentioned that institution so many times right now. So that's the power of this is, right? But again, people build institutions, right? And people run. So let's come back to your question.
Yeah.
The question is, first and foremost, we don't practice advertising in Nigeria like institutions.
Okay.
When I led my last agency before this, there are a lot of things I didn't understand. There are a lot of things I didn't know. There are a lot of mistakes I made. I had some philosophy as to, okay, yes, this is what should be done. But just the gap, it's like knowing what should be done, but moving from where you are to what should be done is the broad area, is where you have, is what you have to fix. Right? So now that, I am not just a creative person, I'm a creative entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So I'm not a creative I'm trying to create. Don't bother me if I don't care. I don't care about client. I don't care about client. I'm now a creative entrepreneur, meaning that it is my job to make sure that creativity solves a problem and it is paid for enough. Right?
Yeah.
So now I can see the difference and all the loopholes and all the other things. I think that first off is that we have an artisan mindset as creatives. Most people. Let me not say we and offend other people. But most people have an artisan mindset.
Yeah.
What do I mean? If you have a carpenter, right, and you say, "Come and help me fix this table. I'm going to pay you 20,000."
Yeah.
And the guy says on Wednesday, and the guy doesn't show up on Wednesday. Let me tell you what has happened. Somebody shows up on Tuesday and says, "Come and help me fix this same table. I'll pay you 50,000.
Yeah.
So sees that he's trading his time for money.
For money, yeah.
Just goes like, who is going to pay me more? I am going.
That's it. Yeah.
Whereas the craftsman trades his time for value and for skill.
Yeah.
So the craftsman will spend time to get better because he knows that when he gets better, he will get the monetary value.
Yes.
So it's the reason why, if you look at people who are creative directors today in some of the leading agencies in the country, they stayed at agency. You get they stayed there, they built value there, they created results there, they learned from legends there.
Yeah.
So your talent is great, but creative needs to understand that talent is not enough. I am telling you, to be, you know this thing. You will see, I want to work globally. They just wrote IT, and then they put some sub copy underneath it, and then they put one picture in the background, and boom, I was winning.
Yeah.
So, what Photoshop effects did they use there? Like, like a secretary that does not know anything about creativity in terms of design, replicate that work using normal word processor like Microsoft Word. Can replicate that. So it's not about the technical skill you have.
Yeah.
Advertising is an intelligence-driven business.
Yeah.
And intelligence can be learned. So sometimes we think intelligence is abinibi. It's true. Maybe if it didn't, but you'll be surprised that somebody who spends more time fine-tuning their thinking, spending time with intelligent people, questioning things, learning, failing in months, will be more intelligent than you, that you are going around everywhere sharing a piece of your intelligence to people who are not as intelligent as you. What do I mean? If an agency comes and says, Toby, we need you right now, we will die without you, how much do you want to collect? You say, oh, you want to collect 1.6 million. You say, okay, don't worry, I will pay you 2 million. We just need someone that can do, you can do 3D. You say yes. You can do, you say yes. You just need that one. You go there. So when you get to that agency, you are the superstar. So you are the one giving them your intelligence.
Yeah.
Now, you are giving them your intelligence, but they are not giving you anything back aside money.
Yeah, that's the thing.
In the next 4 years, you see that guy that could not do 3D like you in your former agency. That guy that could not do, that could not even design half like in your former agency. If he stays and learns from people that were better than you at that agency, and dig his roots down, that guy will eat you. That guy will sound more intelligent than you and will solve more problems than you can solve. So you are just a rich, talented person, whereas he is a richly resourced, intelligent person. So it's a question of which one do you take. And when you keep moving based on money, that's when the question for what next will really, really hit you hard. Because if you have value in you as a creative person, you would rather figure out what next can I do, like where next can I go to disrupt, like what other problem can I solve? Okay, so now I'm executive creative director for this particular. Okay, now that I'm ECD, maybe I should now start volunteering my time with a foundation that is solving lack of water access in rural Africa. Maybe I should start picking up for female hygiene or female genital mutilation. Maybe I should actually start thinking about how to create a movement that ensures that we have less waste in agriculture. Your mind will start moving there. But if it's about so I'm just going to be on this 6 million naira per month salary as ECD. I'm not saying that's what they earn. No, I'm just saying, right? I'm just be on this 6 million. How much? I cannot even change my car. I cannot even, when you start looking at the things that you cannot do, then you're a mercenary for hire. Mercenary for hire. You're not really like a creative person. You're living in the artisan. I think for me, the first thing to resolve is the mindset, artisan mindset, right? That's to resolve. If we become craftsmen, we will spend more time to own our craft, right? Then the second thing, which I want to speak to, because I'm guilty of it, is business stability, or should I say career stability? Sometimes when businesses fail, it's easy for the CEOs to just think that they are the ones that failed. Or even it's not even like it's easy for them to think. That's what you see on the press. So company winds down. Maybe for a business that is not a creative business, it may be true. When the business is a business, what you've done is, if someone wanted to be a craftsman, you have rocked that person's boat. It's like, let's imagine, you've seen Rings of Power, right?
rings up. Oh, I've not seen it, but I see it on Prime. I'll go and watch it. I'll go and watch it.
I was going to imagine the guy who was deceived by Sauron. So I forgot his name. Celebrimbor, the elfsmith that was deceived by Sauron to make the rings. Right? Imagine that he closes his forge. Then it means that the people who are working at that forge, that were learning the craft from him, would go and figure where to learn the craft.
Where to learn, yeah.
And the same way, so that's for closing, that's for the bad side. The same way, if he is so wealthy and he decides to splurge cash on himself, and there's nothing that comes down to the people who are also learning the craft, then everyone starts to ask, okay, so all of this fire that we are blowing, all this hammering that we are hammering is for Celebrimbor to just blow and be carrying bodies around and living the life and around the world. So the challenge is business stability and what is in it for people working in agencies. When people join agencies, there's no direct life impact plan. If you are joining an agency, they will tell you, okay, yes, if you do 2 years, you become group head. If you do 2 years, you become senior group head. If you do this one, you become this. So in the next 10 years or in the next 6 years, you can become associate creative director. So they'll map out your career path for you. Okay, good. Yeah. That's the part. What is my life path?
Yeah.
What quality of life will I be living in the next 2 years?
Yeah.
What quality of life will I be living in the next 4 years?
Yeah.
In which schools I'll be able to send my children to?
Yeah.
Because now you're hiring me as a 23-year-old young man that is not yet married. Is it, like I said, there are some things you will not understand until you go into the owner side of the business.
Yeah.
You're hiring me as a 23-year-old guy that is very free. All I want to do, I'm a 23-year-old. So you know the vibes now. All you want to do is, you don't even hear things like serious relationship, right?
No, you cannot be serious, yes.
Exactly. So you can give hours to the agency. You can work till like 11 p.m. in the night and all of those things.
Yeah.
Great. What happens when along the line, 2 years from now? So let's plot that guy's life. You're coming in. What's the level you joined Isobar at?
I joined as art director.
Art director, so flat art director.
Yeah, flat.
So 23-year-old. So you do 2 years. They make you senior art director.
Yeah.
You're promoted. You're happy, right?
Yeah.
So you're playing. So the work and career part, but we are playing a simulation for the life part. So you take your boys out and like senior art director. We know they go all these regular bars again. Let's go to Quinox, or let's go to a club DNA, or let's go somewhere.
Yeah.
And then when you get there, you meet this nice looking daughter of Eve from one of the best that she's even a Texas, so she's got her own money, and the guys are bragging. Toby's so good, they promoted him at work, and she's like, this guy has potential, everything goes.
Yeah.
And you guys it. Then you're still busy with work. 2 years down again. So senior art director, what's the next level going to be now?
Group head, like group head art.
Group head arts. Good.
Yeah.
So they make you group head arts. Don't forget that this agency gave you the promotion, that gave you the impetus. You want to be very frank with yourself to enter the dating pool and be a serious boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because now you need to buy iPad, for birthday. You have money to send flowers, to pay for spa.
Yeah.
I know struggling boy that didn't have exactly. So now you're now group head at group head, and your salary has gone even higher. So you start to look at it. Okay, let me buy a car. So you buy a car, and then this guy is growing at where he's working. Let's get married, and then you get married. So in how many years now? In 4 years.
4 years, yes.
I've gone from a wide-eyed, innocent, sowing my white oats young boy
Yeah.
to a man starting a family.
Yes.
I don't think agencies, my assumption, again, I'm not saying anything factually, account that behavioral change. I don't think they accommodate that. Because what happens is the moment you now marry, your mentality now shifts. You now start you now realize that even as group head, they are not paying you competitively like Noah's Ark. Let's say you're not working at Noah's Ark, like Noah's Ark is paid.
Yeah.
So you need to do something about it.
Yeah.
Move for money. This year that
Yeah.
When you join the agency as this wide-eyed art director, they tell you, here's how we are going to put you on an investment plan.
Yeah.
Here's going to help you manage your money. There's financial advice for you as part of the values that HR offers you. They are advising you to set your money aside. Not only that, your bonuses are clear.
Yeah.
When you do a work that wins an account or that wins a bid, you are clear what your financial bonus is. It's a percent. So you are not. And when I'm done with this, I will tell you industries that practice this and why they succeed.
Yeah.
You are clear that if you win an account as an art director, if you do 45 hours on an account on a pitch, win the account and you get so amount of bonus. So you are driving success for the business and you are knowing where your money is going.
Yeah.
And then when with all of that talk, there's also this conversation where by the time you get your second promotion to group head, they start to tell you about mortgage. So they say, Toby, as our group head we don't want you to just live anywhere. We would like you to pick out of maybe 2 to 3 estates in so neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to give you an apartment. And here's how we are going to if we pay so amount of your mortgage, we pay so amount of your mortgage out of your salary, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to, own the house after 10 years, after 6 years.
Yeah.
And so this thing. So here you are. They've not even given you a car, but here you are, you're a group head, and you already own a house.
Yeah.
So the first problem, your pyramid is sorted. Shelter.
Once housing is gone, no more landlord wala.
You understand?
Yeah.
It would mean differently to you to be a group head.
Yeah.
At that point in time, it will.
Yeah.
It will mean when you now become maybe associate creative director, they say, okay, fine. Here's a contribution towards your car. We're going to give you this amount. You find your own balance to it, and you get a car. Let me explain something. There's a creative director I know that left an agency because they will not support him to buy a house.
Wow.
In fact, he was not asking them to dash him the money. He was asking to loan him the money and remove it for salaries.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the creative director, the ECD of that agency, that gave the agency. This is not hearsay. I heard from the guy directly, and he left because the agency didn't see a reason to put money down for this. And then they now said, okay, you know what? We can only loan you this amount. So let's say he wanted to buy a house of 30 million. They said they can only loan him 10 million or 8 million. That he should go and look for the remaining 20-something million by himself.
Yeah.
And he says, if I had the money, I won't come to meet you for a loan.
After 20-something million, I'm going to like,
you understand?
Yeah.
But imagine if that loan had been granted as part of an organization policy to say, when you become this, we give you this. So maybe you can say even giving houses to your group heads is a bit presumptive, preemptive. All right.
Yeah.
Move it to associate creative directors. So you know that if I'm working at this agency, if I work at this agency for the next 7 years and I'm good enough, become associate creative director, I will get a house for family. I will stop paying house rent.
Yeah.
You just know that there's something for you to work for.
Yeah.
There's a benefit to work for, right? So when you come into the what happens in advertising majorly is that people just sell you the glory. We are the most awarded, we are the best place to
A global agency.
global agency, part of the global agency network. And this guy is just trying to get through life. So that's the business of things, right? I think that if we as an industry start looking out for our talents this way, no one will charge a premium on the clients.
Yeah.
Charge a premium. No, that we are not ready for that conversation. It's a separate conversation. How it their retainer.
Yeah.
Tell a client that the client has 12 resources working on an account, and then you have just 4 people.
Yeah.
So yes, you need to make profit, but the question is maybe you are undercharging in the first place, right? So, to solve this problem, right, I just think that there has to be a win for you from the day you get your employment letter from any agency. You have to know that it is not just a job opportunity you are getting; it is a life because behavior or the craftsman behavior is fundamental by one thing. Everybody wants for themselves.
Yeah. I mean, and I really will I say, let me use the word vibe with what you're saying, because it got to a point I was even thinking, because I mean I think a lot sometimes. I was thinking that, okay, let me even leave this advertising industry, right? Let me go to some other industries in Nigeria where I see people that are working in a particular company and they are celebrated for working 20 years, working 10 years. And I want to ask them that, what made you stay here for 20 years of your life? Like, even in this your same industry, there are other companies that are still big or bigger than your company. What made you stay here and say, I'm giving 20 years of my life to this particular company? Because I really like what you said about the fact that when you're coming in, the company already have a clear plan for you. Telling you, oh, if you work here for the next 7 years, between these 7 years, let's say you'll be promoted 2 times. You're coming in as art director, you'll be promoted to senior art director, and then you'll be promoted to group head art. You already know in your mind, and it's stated, it's clear, it's in the contract, you have signed it. You know that there's no need to fight and say, when will you promote me? That one is not there. Then you know that with every promotion comes its benefit. So there's no way you will not want to do the work. There's no way you will not want to become better. There's no way you will not want to get that thing done to the point that they see the value in you. And when it comes time for you to be promoted, for every other thing to be added, it's just seamless. There's no, I'm fighting. Because I hear some things like, even in some other places, that people will be like, if you go and work in this place, don't even think about promotion, because there are like 100 people there waiting for promotion. And I'm like, it's not supposed to be like this.
Can I speak to that? Speak to that? Okay, so I think that we will not be able to make so first off, advertising has to be driven by merit. Okay. So I recently promoted 2 people in my small startup agency. And for me, it was a promotion long overdue. Right? You are promoted to handle a responsibility within a business. Right. If the business is not enough, if business is not growing enough, that promotion cannot be handed out. If the business is not growing enough, the question is why. So the coin in advertising. First off, is the agency as good as they say they are? Secondly, are they serving the right clients?
That's another thing.
So most people in that place where you find 43 people lined up for promotion that have not been promoted, they are just mediocre people. Those 43. You see, there is no industry where the compounding effect of mediocrity comes to life faster than an agency. So there's none. You can have a mediocre win a league in football. But like, you just need to have like one badass striker, maybe one. But everybody can be playing rubbish. Nago. If you guys don't win the league, you guys will at least get. You will get top 4. You know.
You get one quarter.
Look at. I won't call them out, right? But look at the Crystal versus right, or a Crystal Palace versus an Arsenal.
Yeah.
One person is ending his season with a trophy, the other person is ending his season without a trophy. Do you understand my point?
Yeah.
You know, so you can get away with mediocrity or average.
Yeah.
But in advertising, it's a crime. Because of pure intelligence. So you must have the team as much as possible. But however, because those agencies are serving mediocre clients as well.
Yeah.
Who people to just do certain things. They will keep being mediocre people, be able to mediocre clients. That is the challenge. So the problem cannot be solved from the talent alone. The problem cannot be solved from the. So it's a case of if you choose mediocrity as an agency, before you know it, you're caught up in that loop. So to that matter, if you are going to get promoted in an agency or fight for promotion, be sure that you merit. Let there be a plan. In 2 years, we expect you. So it's a case of we expect you to be promoted.
Yeah.
So if you're not promoted, there's a problem. I think I get the point. I think HR actually make it such a way whereby thank you for joining Divine Favor Limited, right? So we are starting you off as an art director, but in 2 years' time, we expect you to be a senior art director.
Yeah.
But you know that these guys are planning to promote you in 2 years.
Yeah.
It is now to collapse that 2 years into 6 months by being very, very super good.
Yeah.
Or to extend that 6 years and 2 years into 6 years by not being good.
Yeah. So it's now person, yeah.
But they have a policy that will promote you. So you are not assured, but you are informed of a promotion plan. But if you don't merit, you won't get it.
Yeah.
That's to do that. I'm telling you, a lot of mediocre talents in our industry will wash out.
Yeah.
And then people will come up, because how does a league, let me go back to football, how does a league become interesting to watch?
It's when the underdogs are coming and
you get when the underdog in that league is the top dog in that league.
Top, like
it's interesting to watch. Just think about it. Look at the striker like Isaac at Newcastle. Badass player. Playing for a club like Newcastle, Arsenal, not even Man United, not even, you know, years ago that would not happen. He would have been playing for the top. Now nobody can even say this is the top 4 of England Premier League.
I think top 4 is even like switching now, because
so do we have that in our advertising landscape in Nigeria? Honestly, can we ask ourselves that question? Like, leave the name.
Yeah.
Let's go to the players now. Who is the senior art director or senior group head for art in so and so agency? How good is he? How good is she? Who is the strategy director for so and so? How good is this person?
Yeah.
It's not there should be people challenging it to Joseph every day. Do you understand? Not a business of having just one lone star. Where are these talents?
Yeah.
You get my point. So until we have a situation where the level of intelligence is a lot, agencies will lose the ability to build premiums. The impact there will be an impact in the quality of life of what it means to be a creative person in advertising. Because if you cannot charge a premium, you can't enjoy life.
Yeah.
Someone in my company now to be expecting that I'll be able to drive a car is not going to work. Like as a staff, expecting that okay, based on my role, I will get a car. It's not going to work. Maybe in another agency, someone of that same level might be able to, get a car loan from the business or a car allowance from the business and all, because the business is doing better.
Yes.
So where you work at, so that's what so sometimes as creatives we don't realize that your destiny is connected to the well-being of the business you represent.
Yeah.
And even when we do, rather than fix the business, you know what we do? We extend ourselves and we go into PP.
Yeah.
We drop back and we go into PP because we feel like, okay, ourselves.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I want to speak to that PP thing, but maybe later. But I want to speak to it. It's the biggest thief of progression and growth amongst. You know that question I asked earlier, which is, where are the talents? Where are the other Tim Topper Josephs? Where are the other? I don't want to keep mentioning names. Let me just hold myself before it looks like I'm endorsing or not endorsing.
Yeah.
But where are those names, right? They are not there because they are being spread too thin. So instead of it about how to, I'm using you as an hypothetical. About how to create an award, not an award-winning campaign, a market-shifting campaign for say Indomie noodles or for Golden Penny. What Toby is about is, how do I quickly help this my friend that has an interior design business set up an Instagram page? How do I complete a look? My friend that is in a mocktails brand, it's going to pay me 200. That's what Toby. But at the end of the day, Toby has just 24 hours.
Yeah.
He has made a promise to a Golden Penny that, don't worry, we will come up with market shifting ideas for you.
Yeah.
And Roy Toby come up with market shifting ideas for the client. But Toby, coloring within the lines of the box he has been given, because Toby knows that by his contract with the agency, and think about it now, if he does minimum, if he works as though it's an assembly line, I've colored it onto the next person, I've done the work, I've sent account manager, he will get paid at the end of the month. So Toby does that. But the reason why the agency got the opportunity from Golden Penny in the first place was not do the bare minimum for us and you get paid. Was don't worry, it's competition. Goes through every day of his life working in the agency without being obsessed about beating competition. You see the irony? Because Toby has a situation where either because he's underpaid by the agency or he has financial pressure, or because the agency has not created an plan for him, Toby has to fend. Toby has to look after himself. Toby has to create alternative pathways for him to earn money. So something else is vying for Toby's attention alongside what he has been given. So that's the challenge.
So I want us to touch on one more thing. I mean, our time is fast spent, but I want us to touch on one more thing, right? And it is the fact of, or will I say, the ability to grow. Like working in a place and immediately you get in, they say that we are going to promote you, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. However, we have some specific trainings we need you to go through.
Okay.
Because for you to be our senior art director, there are some things you need to know.
God bless you.
There's this school we want to send you to, even if it's online. There's this course we want to give you to watch. There's this school in Nigeria that we need you to go to. We can even say, okay, maybe on Fridays you close by 12, between 12 and 4 o'clock. That's where you'll be. You'll go there, you can close from there and then go home. And so agencies putting these things in place? Because I feel like most creative people, they feel like I'm working in this place. Yeah, they're not paying me enough. I'm building my skill, I'm improving myself. And this is why I will even say I understand the fact when he said we think like artisans, right? I'm improving myself. Oh, okay, now this new value, let me go and trade it for more money. Let me carry this new, because I'm the one that take $500 and went online, School of Motion. I went to buy one course, $500, and I watched the course. I collect my certificate. I'm doing cool stuff. You now said I should come and use this thing for your client. Sometimes this is the way creatives think. Like
No. That's not all the time.
all the time,
Trust-
sir, because okay, the $500 I spent, who will give me back? You will not take the same thing and go and charge your client and say, oh, we cannot do something like this, so charge them millions. They will do it. I mean, I'll still collect my same salary. No, I'd rather go to another place and collect more money and then do that thing.
Okay. God, where do I start from? I think again, let's go back to first principles.
Yeah.
I'll give you an instance. I had a principal one time. So first off, I've always designed the names of roles in my company around output of intelligence, which is what consult companies do.
Yeah.
So either a function lead, a senior associate, a principal, a vice, senior principal, like that. I had a principal, which is like a group head, almost getting to ACD kind of level. I think for just so people understand how serious that role was, I think I was paying close to 800k per month then at a small agency. Please cut that out. Please, it's not good.
Yeah.
But I think that just so you get the context, and I wanted this guy could do 3D. So when we were hiring him, we wanted 3D, wanted certain things. Baba, I kid you not. I never got a 3D project out of this person. Not one. So this is someone that was hired with the skill set. So you have been hired based on that improvement.
Yeah.
But there was a project we wanted to do, and I said, we wanted to do something for a cleaning company. I said, let's make a 3D image of a broom, of a brush, right?
Yeah.
For that brush being bristles, we will put people lay down and using foam. So it's like a brush of ants to just show you the detail.
Yeah.
So you didn't even come up with the idea as creative director. I'm coming you to do it with your 3D impressive portfolio.
Yeah.
Now award-winning work by agency in Hong Kong that did that same thing, tire company and Cook Tire. Yeah. They wanted to show the grip of the tire. So it was people with some pumps or some different, like millions of people wearing protective glasses and suction pipes, embedded tire. So that same concept, but for a different client. You see how, but away from that. So this person could not deliver it. So as an agency owner, how do you think I'm supposed to feel about that?
It's gonna be cool.
So if someone comes into my, say the junior art director comes up to meet me and says, I'm to train myself in 3D skills and all of that, I may not be impressed. You get my point. I may not be impressed until that person starts to apply it to the business.
Yeah.
And so if it starts to apply it to the business, the natural response should be that the person's job role, so it can still be, we don't need to promote you in terms of a new function, right? So you are a visual designer, also you're an art director, but your job role will be expanded. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Your job role will be expanded to take into consideration the fact that you are now able to have these additional skills. That's not business school, so you can expand a job role without changing the job function, right?
Oh, okay.
So once you've expanded that job role, then there can be an increment in salary.
Yes.
So that's what people used to have level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. So
Yeah.
I can be an art director, a senior art director, level 2, because I can now do motion graphics in addition to my still graphics.
Yeah.
So if the organization does not have a clear roadmap towards that kind of rewards,
Yeah.
people would leave. So
yeah.
the company does not need to train you. The company just needs to let you know that even if you train yourself, there's a reward for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get my point. If you train yourself, reward for it.
There's a reward for it.
I mean that when people train themselves, the organization does not even know that you have been trained. Because don't forget, your company is not your creative director. I always say it. When creatives leave a company, they are not leaving the company, they are leaving the creative director. Because most of the time, yes, because most of the time, directors forget that the concept of being a creative director is not for you to come up with the most intelligent idea.
Yeah.
It's for you to ensure that the creative shop comes up with the most intelligent idea. So sometimes it require you being able to keep your talent.
Yeah.
The moment you become a creative director, you become a captain. A captain does not have to score the goal, but he has to be the one to marshal the team to victory and to take up responsibility.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But what we see happen in most cases is people actually tell their creative director they are leaving, and the creative director okays it.
Yeah.
It happens in some agencies, or people have issues with their creative directors and they leave because of that.
And they leave because of this.
Yeah. And then there's something you said about the training. I think agency training should be different from skill training.
Okay.
Yeah. How do I mean? Agencies are supposed to keep training their people in the way of the agency. I liken agencies to karate or kung fu dojos.
Yeah.
So there'll be a kung fu master in one place, there's another kung fu master in another place.
Yeah.
They won't teach you strength particularly, but what they will teach you is, as you grow, they start to teach you how to expose your mind, how, values to live by, the power of kindness, how to be one with nature, how to. Those are the things that should be trained, so that when someone says I'm a group head at a particular agency, there's a certain expectation that comes with it.
Yeah.
It means that you know how to treat clients. It means that you have etiquette in public spaces. It means that you dress in a certain type of way. It means that you have a respectable, relationship with your parents. Like there are things that are not this creativity. We build the business around creativity so much that we forget that there's a lot of life beyond creativity. So you have people who are group heads, but they are very, very terrible people. They are very, very terrible people. They don't know how to speak. They don't know how to talk. They curse out people a lot. You can't speak with them and come back with a positive experience.
Yeah.
You wonder why the agency is struggling.
Yeah.
Because these are the people that are managing the younger talents. And they are very terrible people. Or you have someone that is a chronic womanizer and has no respect for for female agency spaces and boundaries.
Yeah.
Do you get the vibe, right?
Yeah.
There are certain things that should not happen if agencies start to see themselves as institutions. Remember, that was the first thing I said.
Yeah.
Do you see it as an institution?
Yeah.
Trevor Joe was asking people to wear suit and tie and suit, shirt and tie. He wasn't doing it because he wanted them to be conscripted into the corporate life. It's just that when you go through the rigor of ironing your shirt and putting on a tie, there's a way it programs your mind. So we are stepping away from all of that right now, and people are just coming like if someone says, Toby was deputy creative director at a particular company, it should mean something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why he understands this. That's why he understands that. That's why it should not be, oh, he's a very creative person.
Yeah. It's not just end with creativity.
No, it's not creativity. And agencies today are being led by amazing founders. I know so many founders of agencies that are excellent people. But the challenge is they are not that DNA that made them amazing. They are not passing it through.
Yeah.
If you come to church, if you see someone that is you go to Christ Embassy, you see someone that is a what's it called, a regional lead or something. There's a way that person would move. If you see someone that is, there's a way they do their thing. Even in RCCG and other churches.
Yeah.
That is how organizations become institutions. So beyond, it's not just a case of, even if you come to what's it called, Pastor A.S. Church, this Celebration Church.
Yeah, Celebration Church.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
People are not just pastors of his church because they are spirit filled. It's a certain character that's been built into them. So when someone is pastor of this, when someone is one is that, there's certain things that come with that role.
Yeah.
So let's separate role training from skill.
Yeah.
I used to say it then at my former agency that you can be I was telling my guys that don't make the mistake. You can be managing someone that is earning more than you. They say, I said no.
It is everywhere.
You can manage someone that is earning more than you because you're a better leader. That person is just an expensive resource.
Yeah.
You are a leader, the person is an expensive resource. It's just like if you are the plant manager. Let's say you are the plant manager for a particular organization, right? If they want to dredge something, like oil and gas, if they want to do dredging, they'll put these expatriate guys in, pay them dollars by the hour, provide a service, but you will be the one to supervise that plant and to make sure that things go up specifications.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it's a different way to frame our organizations, right? Then about agency training, I think that also agency leaders are so busy trying to survive or trying to just maintain the business that they expect the talents to leave anyway, so they don't really plan a training program. But let's look at it. Let's face the fact. The longest standing agencies in Nigeria today are standing, and are also the ones with the most recognized, most long-standing human resource training programs. We talked about an insight.
Yeah.
I don't know any other agency that I have worked in. I'm just saying that I have worked in. That has any such program.
Yeah.
So Toby, to answer your question, to summarize it, creatives should seek to work for institutions, for agencies that act as institutions, not agencies that as hustles or shops.
Yeah.
Because most agencies act as shops and they won't care if you leave or not.
Yeah.
There's this statement that is very prevalent in the industry: different toilets, same shit. I'm sure you have heard that statement before. That statement aligns the reason for where we are as an industry.
Yeah.
It underlines it. So we need to do better. Have this better conversation with ourselves as creatives. My camera is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think it's not really about the camera. It's really just about the message.
Yeah.
So I think that I was saying that agencies should act more like institutions, and creatives should look for agencies that act as institutions. Have tougher conversations with people you work for and work with. Talk about your future, and then we should give it some time. Let's stop jumping all over the place, right? I don't know how else to explain it, but it does not help the industry when a particular talent just does 1 year, 6 months, 4 months. It doesn't help.
Help. Most of them jump, then jump out of the country.
Exactly. It's It's very sad. And also, I also think that we also have a way to look at it. So, for instance, Toby, you're at an agency now, yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Your one of your tasks at that agency would be to build the next generation of talent, to ensure that the agency has a pipeline of talent. We don't. Most creatives that I have met that are very talented, most of them are okay with just being operators. They don't want to be teachers. Just tell me what I need to do. They don't want to be teachers.
Let me do it. Yeah.
And let me do it. But you have to be a teacher. You have to help. You have to build the future for the for the industry. You have to, one way or the other. So that's where I see it really. I don't know if I answered your questions well. But...
No, you did. I mean, so one last thing. What would you advise, let's say, creatives who are coming up, art directors, senior art directors, junior art directors? What
copywriters too?
Copywriters, strategies.
Yeah.
Everybody, even to the content team, right?
Yeah.
What would you advise them to do for them to have a great career?
I wish my camera was great for this part. It might be your highlight. But again, guys, ignore the camera. Last minute change. I think the first thing is to forget about money.
Okay.
Yes. Forget about money. Seek to prove yourself.
Okay.
Prove yourself that truly your creativity can solve business problems. Don't forget that advertising is not the same thing as graphic design.
Yeah.
And that's where, let me start with that for art directors. That's where a lot of people make that mistake. You are doing graphic design in your university, you're designing banners and flyers and logos for people, that's fine. When you get into advertising, brands are depending on your design to turn a profit.
Yeah.
They are depending on your concept to break through into the market. So achieve that. Be known for the person that did a particular thing. And once you are known for that, you can now start to think about how to create value for yourself monetarily. So the first thing we need to go for is proving ourselves. Once you've proven yourself, then get paid your worth. When you find somewhere that pays you your worth, the third thing is protect that house. It is hard to say, but you have proven yourself. If God helps you, are able to prove yourself and get paid your worth in the same agency you are in, then the more reason for you to protect that house. Do you understand? So protect that house with everything that you have. Defend it with everything that you have. Because only those who are able to protect where they are coming from will be able to earn the stripes to lead anywhere they are going. I don't know how else to describe it better than that. Because the moment you start to see that this company that pays you salary is depending on your creativity to survive. This client that is showing up in your meeting is not just a very angry, stubborn person. This person is depending on you to win. The moment you start feeling that way, you have something to protect. But if you feel like you are the best thing after sliced bread, and all you want to do is keep moving. A lot of creatives look like this. They look sideways. They don't look down and they don't look up. They look sideways. My guy is earning this amount, so and so place. This person just became creative director. How? You have to look down. Where are you coming from? What were you on in your current organization? Who were the people you outgrew? What are the things you must do at the level you are right now to justify your promotion? You know the painful thing that happens in agencies and affects people's promotion.
Yeah.
Let's say you, for instance, now you're working at Insight. There were 3 people on your level. They now made you group head art.
Yeah.
Immediately you collected that group head art, you did 1 month, and you now move to go and become group head art at Extreme.
Yeah.
Do you see that? You used your promotion from Insight to get a better offer.
Yeah.
So yes, group head art at Insight, maybe they're paying you, again hypothetically, they're paying you 1 naira as art director. Now they're paying a senior art director. They're not paying you 3 naira as group head art. You now go to Extreme that's ready to pay you 5 naira.
Yeah.
Because in your mind, you're looking at, I am moving from 1 naira to 5 naira.
5 naira.
You're not looking at, I'm moving from 3 naira to 5 naira.
Yeah.
Do you understand that gap?
Yeah.
What you do is that you create a problem for the company. Because the question now becomes, Toby, let's say Toby, Tayo, and Femi were the people together, and we promoted Toby out of all of them. So who do we now promote out of Tayo and Femi?
Yeah.
What's going to be the justification?
Yeah.
Do we now bring in someone over Tayo and Femi? Do you see all those disruptions?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have any choice now. Let's promote Femi, since Femi seems to be a better. So they will now say, okay, we don't have any choice now. Let's promote Femi, since Femi does better designs than Tayo.
Yeah.
But Tayo knows that maybe he has more concepts than Femi.
Yeah.
And Tayo and Femi acknowledge that Toby was deserving of his promotion.
Yeah.
So now Femi is now promoted to replace Toby.
Yeah.
Tayo feels disgruntled. Tayo goes. All of a sudden, in the space of 1 year, a creative department that had 3 strong art directors will now have only 1 art director that's leading over nobody.
Wow. Yeah.
Can you see the impact of that decision?
Yeah.
So when I say protect this house, that's what I mean. I'm not saying go and start saying we no go or go and start anywhere anybody talks rubbish about the agency. No, that's not what I'm saying. But just know that for every recognition you get within a company, you are getting part of it, to be part of a structure, and don't move without being clear that you're not disrupting anything.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So that's just it. So don't go for money.
Yeah.
Prove your worth.
Yeah.
Once you've proven your worth, make a claim for what you deserve. When you get it, protect the house that made you.
All right. Thank you so much for this session. Really insightful, and I'm sure a lot of people that watch this, they'll go and sit down and rethink their career path.
Well, I mean, it's not like I'm any much of a saint myself. It's just learning from my own experience, mistakes I made, and just making sure that other people don't have any reason to make those same mistakes again. But thank you so much.
Man. Thank you for coming. And guys, I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.